Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jim Payne. I am the mayor of the city of Superior. Welcome to a rare, and I hope a press conference that stays very, very rare. I'm going to turn over the details to our police chief. I'm joined by Police Chief Paul Winterscheidt, Assistant Chief Michelle Pope, and Superior City Councilor and Chair of our Public Safety Committee, Tyler Elm, and I'll let the police chief share a lot of details of today's incident. Most of you know many of the details from the press release already. The only reason that I wanted to introduce this is in the reporting of the details of what actually happened here, there's at least a small danger that one vital fact will be lost, and that is the extreme bravery and absolutely uncommon valor demonstrated by one of Superior's police officers today. It was actually two police officers that engaged this suspect, but we had an officer that was shot and then continued to engage the suspect. The community is safe today because of the heroic actions of those officers. An officer took a bullet for the people of Superior today. I'm extremely proud of the work of this department, especially the responding officers, and I'm very grateful for the many agencies that responded with our officers without hesitation, that came to Superior to help us out. Again, this community is safe because officers were willing to take a bullet for the people of Superior. I will always be grateful for that. I look forward to being able to recognize and thank those officers in person and in public. That said, we had a very disturbing day that was stressful for a lot of people in the community. People got hurt today. I am grateful that everybody is going to survive the events of today. I am grateful, including that it seems like the suspect will survive and will face justice. That is something that is absolutely vital in situations like this. I will be available for questions as well as the police chief after he gives you his report. Police Chief Paul Winterscheidt.
Good afternoon, and thank you for being here. Earlier this morning at approximately 2:44 a.m., our officers were dispatched to a report of a possible domestic dispute. Our officers located the suspect's vehicle and initiated a traffic stop near Tower Avenue and North 37th Street. During that traffic stop, the driver exited the vehicle and fired multiple rounds at our officer from a semi-automatic rifle, striking the squad car and our officer. The wounded officer, displaying incredible composure and bravery, exited their squad car and immediately returned fire, striking the suspect. The suspect then fled the scene in his vehicle and crashed it through the main office doors of the Superior Middle School. The second Superior officer also fired at the suspect as he was fleeing the scene of the shooting. Meanwhile, back at the scene of the shooting, a third officer responded to assist the wounded officer. The third officer transported the wounded officer to the Ascension Superior Hospital, but not before the wounded officer took the time to clear an innocent motorist from the roadway. The wounded officer was then transported to the Duluth Trauma Center and has since been treated and released. After crashing his vehicle into the front door of the Superior Middle School, the suspect entered the school and occupied an interior room. Officers and deputies from the Douglas County Sheriff's Department, the Duluth Police Department, St. Louis County Sheriff's Office, as well as troopers from the Wisconsin State Patrol and Minnesota State Patrol responded. A perimeter was established. SWAT negotiations teams from the four primary agencies were activated. Officers were quickly able to determine the location of the suspect and contain him within the school. The suspect surrendered without further incident and was treated for his injuries. He's currently booked at the Douglas County Jail. Consistent with Wisconsin law and our department policy, the Wisconsin Department of Justice Division of Criminal Investigation is the lead investigative agency for an officer-involved shooting, and our officers are fully cooperating with that investigation. The involved officers were each wearing body cameras at the time of the incident, and per our policy, those officers have been placed on a paid administrative leave while the independent investigation takes place. Following consultation with the Douglas County District Attorney, the three aforementioned officers have been designated as crime victims. As such, their identities will not be released at this time. I'd like to emphasize three things. First, we are thankful our officer is alive and back home from the hospital. I can tell you I watched the video and I was absolutely taken aback by that officer's bravery, their composure, and the way they responded to really sustained and accurate gunfire on their squad car while they were sitting in it. I can't think of a more terrifying thing. They did their job, they responded, and they dealt with the situation. Anytime an officer is shot, it affects not only the officer and their family, but every member of this department and the community. Second, we are committed to a thorough, independent, and transparent review of what happened. That process is now in the hands of the DCI. When their investigation is complete, their report will be turned over to the Douglas County District Attorney's Office for his review. Third, we recognize that incidents like this can be alarming and upsetting to the community. We share that concern. I would like to emphasize that the Superior Middle School is not the target of this attack, and there is no ongoing threat to the community. We have been in close contact with the Superior School District, and we will continue to work with our regional partners to keep our community safe and support anyone affected by this incident. Because this is an active investigation being led by the Wisconsin Department of Justice, there are limits to the level of detail that I can provide here. I will answer what questions I can, but some questions will just need to be directed to the DOJ as the investigation proceeds. So with that, I will take questions.
Where was the Superior police officer shot? What part of the body? Can you pronoun?
A pronoun? Sure. She was, I can tell you she was shot multiple times. I can't get into the details of where she was shot. Quite honestly, I can't say for certain. You know, that report is obviously still being completed.
She was shot multiple times.
Yes.
Has the weapon been recovered?
Yes.
Okay. Did the subject have multiple weapons in the car? Is that something you know?
Is my understanding, yes.
Did you guys make it to the site of the potential domestic, and what was the scene like there?
So that I'll probably have to defer to Assistant Chief Pope. She may have more details about that dispute and what the resolution of that was. Would you mind?
We're still investigating the domestic dispute. There was some, it was a physical altercation that precipitated this event, so we are still investigating that.
Is there any shooting involved in that?
No.
Can you tell us how long the suspect was holed up in the school before he surrendered?
You know what, I'll turn that back over to Chief Wintershay.
He was at the school approximately 4 hours. I will say during that time our officers had used available technology to pretty immediately locate him and determine where he was. And we were able to consolidate our perimeter on the school, make sure that the wider community wasn't affected.
And you mentioned, of course, the school wasn't a target, but it was, of course, involved. Superior schools have closed the middle school, at least for tomorrow. What's your message to the parents at that school?
Sure. Having 4 children that have gone through the Superior School District and attended that middle school, I certainly share their concern. I can tell you, I'll reiterate again, that the middle school, the school district itself was not the target of the attack. It was just the location that he fled to after the shooting. So we've been in close contact with the school district. I've spoken with the administrator, and her focus is on making sure that the students are not affected by this negatively. You know, right now there's a bunch of damage to the middle school. They want to correct that before bringing students back to make sure students aren't traumatized by that. But I would defer any more of that to the school district to comment on their plan.
What can you tell us about the suspect? Name, any kind of criminal past? Was it someone you're familiar with, the age, anything like that?
Sure. I don't have the age off the top of my head, so I don't want to guess. I can tell you we are familiar with him. We've had previous contacts with him. He hasn't been charged yet, so I can't give his name out.
You mentioned that the state is handling this investigation. Is there a timeline as to when the body cam footage might be released?
I don't have that. You'd have to check with the DOJ.
Will he be charged tomorrow?
Potentially. I don't know. You'd have to check with the district attorney's office on that.
How long has it been since there's been
You know, we were discussing that in anticipation of that question. We figured it would come up. But honestly, it's been so long, I don't have an accurate date for you. It's not a common occurrence in Superior. So.
Following your question, what's it like if you moved to a police officer does?
Shocking. You know, we all know that this is a reality of the job. You know, bullets travel just as fast in Superior, Wisconsin as they do at any other city in the country. The danger is there. There are people who would cause harm anywhere, right? But we think of Superior as a small community. We're a safe community, but these things can happen anywhere. I can tell you that our department prioritizes officer training. Just recently, we conducted a firearms range training day where we practiced this very scenario where officers had to exit their squad car and engage a target. So we take this training seriously. Today it paid off. Probably saved a life.
I have a question regarding the timeline of the incident. How long after the shooting was the suspect discovered at the middle school? Were there officers in pursuit? Was there a search for the suspect? What did that look like?
Yeah, it was immediate. Officers on scene saw him drive his vehicle into the front of the middle school.
What are the injuries to the suspect? How many times were they shot?
You know, again, I'll have to defer to the DOJ on that. Mostly because at this stage of the game, I don't have a solid answer for you.
Is he a resident of Superior or in the area?
I'm
Is the suspect a resident of Superior or the local region? Do you know that?
Was he arrested in?
He's a resident.
Oh, resident. Yeah, I believe he was a resident of Superior. I can't be certain on it though, but I believe he was.
Do you know the age of the officer that got shot and so do you also know how long she's been for force?
I don't have those stats for you right off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
I have a question, so we have to dispute, we determined this that a woman came into a fund court's scene facility, was like shouting and a man came in as well. Can you speak to the validity of that?
Do you have any information for that?
I'm not sure exactly what you're speaking of, so I couldn't comment on that. Thank you.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to either.
Was that man that just walked through?
I'm sorry?
Was that the suspect that just walked through?
I didn't even see anybody. Sorry.
Someone in orange.
Oh, don't know. I didn't see him.
Is there a list of charges that you expect to be brought?
The charges that we expect to be brought are attempted homicide. Yeah, that's for certain. But district attorney will be able to probably comment further on that.
Have you heard any reaction from the officer or the family?
Sure. I spoke with the officer who was wounded immediately after the shooting. I went to the hospital and spoke with that officer right away. And she's doing good. Great. Tried to do this little press conference so we could address some of the questions immediately, but if you have follow-up questions that you think of later, feel free to reach out to us and we'll answer them as we can.
Do you know what agencies have responded to help you so far today?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a list of the different agencies that have helped with this investigation?
Full list of the responding agencies.
The list of the responding.
Full list of the responding.
Oh, sure. I believe we forwarded the DCI's press release that lists all the agencies in it. So that would be the complete list. All right, great. Thank you very much.